Hello guys. Welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today, we will learn about the issue that has shaken Port Charles once again, a custody battle that unexpectedly transformed into a fight for survival. As we recall, the custody hearing between Michael Corinthos and Willow Tate over their children, Wiley and Amelia, faced a dramatic interruption a few days ago, when Sasha suddenly went into labor right in the courtroom. That dramatic birth forced the trial to be delayed, giving both sides time to regroup but also ensuring that when court resumed, tensions would be higher than ever. Now, with the hearing finally back on track, the stakes have reached an unprecedented level, and no one anticipated the shocking turn of events that unfolded. When the courtroom reopened its doors, everyone in attendance knew the next few hours would be crucial. Michael had spent the past few days reevaluating his stance and ultimately decided he wanted to share custody with Willow equally. Despite their differences and painful history, Michael believed their children deserved to grow up surrounded by love and understanding from both parents. But Willow was firm in her resolve. She wanted sole custody of Wiley and Amelia. For her, Michael's long absence due to his medical recovery in Germany and his previous injuries raised questions about his reliability as a parent. Willow wanted to protect her children from instability, even if it meant cutting Michael out entirely. The courtroom was filled with tension as the session began. Attorneys for Michael and Willow presented compelling opening arguments, each side passionately defending their client's position. Michael's legal team argued that their client had fully recovered, was stable and reliable, and was willing to cooperate with Willow to provide a balanced upbringing. Willow's attorney painted her as the primary caregiver who managed the household and emotionally nurtured the children throughout Michael's absence. The arguments continued, becoming more heated as each minute passed. Then, suddenly and without warning, a terrifying incident occurred that shifted everyone's attention away from custody entirely. While his lawyer was addressing the judge, Michael began rubbing his temples, visibly uncomfortable and in distress. He appeared disoriented, his eyes glassy and unfocused. Within seconds, his mild discomfort escalated into severe agony. Michael clutched his head, crying out in pain, shocking everyone in attendance. Before anyone could respond, he collapsed onto the courtroom floor, violently convulsing and foaming at the mouth. Pandemonium ensued. Willow, a trained nurse who had years of experience working at General Hospital, immediately recognized the seriousness of Michael's condition. Without hesitation, she rushed to his side, instructing the bailiff to call an ambulance immediately. Michael's convulsions continued, terrifying those watching helplessly. Willow swiftly assessed him, suspecting immediately that this was not an ordinary seizure. Her instincts told her Michael had been poisoned. Within minutes, paramedics arrived and rushed Michael to General Hospital, with Willow accompanying him. At the hospital, Portia Robinson and a team of specialists quickly took charge, working tirelessly to stabilize Michael and diagnose the mysterious toxin that had entered his system. Michael's condition was critical. He remained unconscious, his body rapidly weakening. Portia immediately conducted thorough tests to identify the poison, but soon admitted that they were dealing with an extremely rare and dangerous toxin. She confessed to Willow and Michael's family that all they could do was administer supportive treatment and hope for the best. News of Michael's sudden collapse and poisoning spread quickly through Port Charles. Friends, family, and even casual acquaintances were shocked and alarmed. Sonny Corinthos, Michael's father, arrived at the hospital deeply shaken, demanding immediate answers and vowing to find the culprit responsible. Carly Corinthos, Michael's mother, stood vigil at her son's bedside, praying for his survival. Wiley and Amelia, confused and frightened, were comforted by family members, shielded from the terrifying details as best as possible. Hours passed without improvement. Just as hope began to fade, Michael finally opened his eyes. Weak and disoriented, his first words were barely audible whispers asking for his children. Relief flooded through Portia and the medical team, who were cautiously optimistic but stressed that Michael remained extremely vulnerable. His body had been ravaged by the poison, and complete recovery would take time. Portia warned that although Michael had awakened, the full extent of any lasting damage remained uncertain. With Michael stabilized, but still extremely weak, the attention quickly turned to finding out who was responsible for this attempted murder. Port Charles Police Department swiftly launched a criminal investigation. Detectives interviewed everyone who had been present in the courtroom, gathering statements, checking security footage, and thoroughly examining all items Michael might have ingested or handled that day. Speculation ran wild throughout town, with rumors and suspicions spreading quickly. The timing of the poisoning, during such a crucial custody hearing, suggested a personal motive. It didn't take long before the whispers became accusations directed at Drew Kane. Drew Kane had become increasingly entangled in Willow's life during Michael's long absence, and his relationship with her had been seen as problematic by Michael's family and friends. His previous actions, most notably his interference during Michael's treatment in Germany, had already cast doubt on his character and intentions. Drew had clearly demonstrated a willingness to manipulate and control situations to benefit himself, making him the prime suspect. The motive appeared clear: by incapacitating Michael, Drew could ensure Willow gained custody, solidifying his position in her life and permanently sidelining Michael. Detectives called Drew in for questioning, scrutinizing his movements, his interactions with Michael, and his whereabouts before and during the courtroom drama. Drew vehemently denied any wrongdoing, insisting that, despite his differences with Michael, he would never resort to such a vile act. Willow, emotionally overwhelmed by the unfolding crisis, felt torn between her trust in Drew and her lingering suspicions. She had forgiven Drew many mistakes before, but this situation was far more sinister. Sonny Corinthos, never one to sit idly by, launched his own investigation through private channels. His reputation and resources allowed him to dig deeper, and he was determined to uncover the truth by any means necessary. Sonny, still haunted by his own violent past, refused to tolerate violence against his family, and Drew became the immediate target of his quiet but intense scrutiny. Meanwhile, Michael struggled through his painful recovery, determined to regain his strength for the sake of Wiley and Amelia. His near-death experience had profoundly impacted him. The custody battle no longer seemed important. His only priority now was protecting his children and understanding who wanted him dead. Carly stood steadfastly by his bedside, promising justice and offering emotional support. Michael remained wary, knowing that someone close to him had betrayed him in the worst possible way. As Michael's condition slowly improved, he began cooperating fully with the police, recalling conversations and interactions from the days leading up to his poisoning. He remained skeptical of Drew but encouraged investigators to look deeper, refusing to let assumptions cloud the pursuit of truth. Though he was physically weakened, Michael's resolve only intensified. The investigation continued, tense and uncertain. As more evidence emerged, every clue seemed to circle back toward Drew, deepening suspicion. But Port Charles had learned many times before that initial assumptions could be dangerously misleading. The police knew they had to keep an open mind, even as public sentiment against Drew intensified. Willow, increasingly distressed, remained conflicted. While her trust in Drew had eroded significantly, she struggled to believe he could be capable of murder. Drew maintained his innocence, desperately urging Willow to believe him, promising to clear his name and find the real perpetrator. Ultimately, Michael's near-death experience reshaped everyone's perspective. The custody battle, once the focal point of everyone's concern, now seemed secondary. The priority became protecting Michael, uncovering the truth, and healing fractured family bonds. Wiley and Amelia deserved a life free from fear and manipulation, surrounded by parents who loved them, whether together or apart. As Michael continued to recover and the investigation continued, one thing remained clear: Corinthos' family had again been pushed to the brink. Trust had been shattered, and relationships tested. But this crisis also brought clarity and renewed purpose, uniting those who truly cared in the shared goal of justice and protection. With the truth still hidden, and accusations flying, the coming weeks would surely bring more revelations and shocking twists. Next, we're diving deep into the drama and intrigue awaiting fans in Port Charles during the week of June 9th to 13th, 2025. This week promises a whirlwind of emotions, shocking revelations, and unexpected alliances that will keep viewers glued to their screens. From Tracy Quartermain's latest power play to Nina Reeves' desperate battle to salvage her relationships, there's no shortage of tension in this beloved ABC soap opera. So, grab a seat, and let's unravel the complex web of storylines, with fresh details and imaginative twists to heighten the excitement. First, Let's turn our attention to the brewing storm between Nina Reeves and Willow Tate Corinthos. Fans will remember Nina's desperate attempt to shield her manipulative actions by enlisting Jacinda to frame Drew Kane. She pleaded with Drew to keep this dark secret from Willow, fully aware of the devastating fallout that could follow. However, secrecy in Port Charles is as fragile as glass, and a sneak peek of Monday's episode reveals Willow confronting her mother with fiery accusations. The young nurse, burdened by hospital duties and concern for her children, seems to have caught wind of Nina's deception, perhaps through a slip from Drew himself. If Nina loses Willow's trust, it could ignite a ferocious counterattack from the embattled mother, who has fought tooth and nail to rebuild her family. Picture Nina pacing her Crimson office late at night, scheming to regain Willow's favor, possibly even dragging other players into her web of redemption. This storyline is set to explode as Nina's warpath could lead to unexpected targets, shaking up alliances across town. Shifting focus to Willow's personal battle, a pivotal phone call from Michael Corinthos adds another layer of complexity to her already tumultuous life. Michael, often the voice of reason, appears to take a page out of Sonny Corinthos' playbook by proposing a compromise to end their ongoing conflict. Under typical circumstances, Willow might grasp at this chance for peace, eager to reunite with her children and put the chaos behind her. Yet, whispers in Port Charles suggest she's not ready to concede so easily. Rumors swirl that Michael's offer comes with a stringent condition barring Drew from any role in Willow and the children's lives. Imagine Willow, standing in the quiet hospital corridor after a grueling shift, weighing her love for her family against her loyalty to Drew. Her resolve hardens, and by the following day, she stands firm against Michael's terms. The stakes skyrocket when Michael drops a bombshell that reverberates through the Corinthos clan, leaving Carly Spencer, Jason Morgan, and Sonny reeling. Could this news involve a hidden truth about the children or a betrayal from within their inner circle? As the week progresses, the courtroom becomes a battleground for more jaw-dropping revelations, with Rick Lansing stepping into the spotlight to confess something that could change everything. Speaking of courtroom drama, Drew Kane is not one to sit idly by as events unfold. This week, he concocts a questionable plan to tip the scales in Willow's favor during the custody battle. A chilling preview shows Drew issuing a stern directive to Rick Lansing, urging him to get it done at any cost. One can almost see the tension in Rick's furrowed brow as he grapples with the ethical dilemma of bending the judicial system to Drew's will. Perhaps Drew's insistence stems from a newfound desperation to protect Willow, or is there a hidden agenda at play, maybe a secret deal with a corrupt judge or a personal vendetta against Michael? Rick, torn between professional integrity and Drew's relentless pressure, might seek counsel from an unlikely ally in Port Charles, setting the stage for further intrigue. This sleazy solution could either secure Willow's future or unravel Drew's carefully constructed facade, risking everything he holds dear. Meanwhile, emotional undercurrents ripple through other corners of Port Charles. Elizabeth Liz Baldwin finds a confidant in Lucas Jones, opening her heart about struggles that have long been buried. Imagine Liz sitting in the dim light of the hospital break room, her voice trembling as she recounts fears of losing herself amidst the chaos of her relationships and responsibilities. Lucas, ever the empathetic listener, might offer a perspective that reshapes Liz's outlook, perhaps even inspiring her to take a bold step forward. At the same time, Cody Bell approaches Carly Spencer with a daring proposition. Could this be a business venture tied to the Quartermain estate, or a risky personal favor that tests Carly's loyalties? Picture the two huddled over coffee at Kelly's, Cody's earnest gaze convincing Carly to consider a path she hadn't dared before. Elsewhere, Isaiah Gannon emerges as a beacon of support for those in distress. Not only does he receive a generous offer, possibly a career-defining opportunity at General Hospital, but he also picks up on Portia Robinson's mounting stress. Having previously guided Willow through the emotional turmoil of her custody fight, Isaiah might draw on that experience to offer Portia sage advice. Envision a quiet moment in the hospital courtyard, where Isaiah shares a heartfelt story from his own past, helping Portia untangle the knots of her strained relationships. His intuitive kindness could be just the lifeline Portia needs, or it might inadvertently spark a deeper connection between them, complicating her dynamic with Curtis Ashford. The younger generation in Port Charles isn't sitting idle either. Trina Robinson and Kai Taylor put their heads together to brainstorm a plan, likely tied to a personal or family issue that's been simmering beneath the surface. Picture the two at the Jerome Gallery, surrounded by vibrant art, as they sketch out ideas that could either mend broken ties or stir up fresh conflict. Their youthful energy and determination had a refreshing contrast to the heavier adult dramas unfolding around them, offering a glimpse of hope for the future. On a different note, Felicia Scorpio steps into the spotlight with a brand new mission. Known for her tenacity and knack for uncovering secrets, Felicia's latest endeavor could involve a deep dive into a long-buried mystery perhaps tied to Anna Devane's reflective journey through her past. Imagine Felicia poring over old case files in a dusty attic, piecing together clues that connect Anna's history to a present-day threat. Anna herself, always a figure of strength and complexity, takes time to look back on her life, possibly revisiting memories of her tumultuous romance with Valentin Casadini or her dangerous spy days. This introspection might unearth a forgotten promise or regret, pushing Anna to confront someone from her past in a tearful, powerful scene at the pier. Adding to the week's intensity, Tracy Quartermain issues a formidable challenge to Alexis Davis. Tracy, with her sharp tongue and unyielding demeanor, likely corners Alexis at the Invader office, demanding answers or action on a matter that could reshape their dynamic. Perhaps Tracy uncovers a hidden legal loophole tied to Alexis' past, using it as leverage in a high-stakes game of power. Alexis, never one to back down, might respond with a cunning strategy of her own, setting the stage for a battle of wits that captivates everyone in their orbit. Next, we're delving into the dark and twisted saga of Drew Kane's deceptive reign in Port Charles, with whispers of a long-awaited downfall echoing through the halls of power and personal lives. The week of June 9th to 13th, 2025, promises to unravel some of the most shocking secrets surrounding Drew, exposing the web of lies he's spun around Willow Tate Corinthos and others. With his political career seemingly untouchable and his manipulative grip tightening, the residents of Port Charles are on edge, yearning for justice. Join us as we explore the intricate layers of betrayal, heartbreak, and potential redemption, with fresh details and imaginative twists to amplify the drama in this iconic ABC soap opera. Let's begin with the core of Drew Kane's despicable machinations, a man who has somehow evaded accountability for far too long. Fans have watched in dismay as Drew's treachery has gone unchecked, not only maintaining his polished image as a congressman, but also weaving a suffocating net of deceit around those closest to him. His ability to slip through the cracks of justice is nothing short of infuriating. Picture him striding confidently through the corridors of City Hall, flashing a charming smile while hiding a sinister agenda. The cracks in his facade, however, might finally be showing. Rumors swirl that a whistleblower within his inner circle, perhaps a disillusioned aide or remorseful ally, is gathering evidence of his corrupt dealings. This mounting tension suggests that Drew's meticulously constructed empire could soon crumble under the weight of his own lies, setting the stage for a reckoning that fans have been eagerly awaiting. At the heart of Drew's manipulations lies his toxic entanglement with Willow Tate Corinthos, a relationship built on a foundation of betrayal. Willow, though far from blameless, has become a pawn in Drew's dangerous game. Her affair with her husband's uncle was a stunning lapse in judgment, a reckless plunge that saw her moral compass shatter as she succumbed to Drew's allure. Imagine Willow gazing into the mirror at home, haunted by the reflection of a woman who traded her family's stability for fleeting passion. Yet, she remains unaware of the full extent of Drew's control. Unbeknownst to her, Drew orchestrated a cruel deception by bribing a receptionist at a burn clinic in Germany to lie, claiming Michael Corinthos refused to see her during a crucial moment in their custody dispute. Willow's intention was purely to find a resolution for their children, not to salvage a broken marriage, making Drew's interference all the more heartless. Envision the moment she learns this truth, perhaps through a leaked recording or a confession from the receptionist herself, her world shattering as she realizes the man she trusted has been puppeteering her emotions. The layers of Drew's duplicity deepen with another bombshell that threatens to destroy Willow's perception of him. Hidden in the shadows of Port Charles gossip is the scandalous affair Drew carried on with Willow's own mother, Nina Reeves, all while pursuing Willow without a hint of disclosure. Picture secret rendezvous at obscure diners outside town, Drew and Nina plotting to keep their liaison under wraps while he spun romantic promises to Willow. This double-dealing paints Drew not as a savior but as a calculated predator, exploiting familial ties for his gain. When Willow uncovers this betrayal, perhaps through an old letter Nina tucked away or an accidental slip during a heated argument, their fallout could be catastrophic. It might be the final push she needs to see Drew for the monster he truly is, awakening the dormant strength of the woman who once selflessly aided Sasha Corbin during a life-changing moment at the courthouse. That compassionate Willow, who supported Sasha in delivering Michael's child, still lingers beneath the surface, waiting to reclaim her life if she can break free from Drew's psychological hold. Yet, Drew's influence over Willow is a formidable barrier, his psychological manipulation akin to a vice grip on her heart and mind. His charm and calculated words have brainwashed her into doubting her own instincts, leaving her trapped in a cycle of regret and poor choices that began on a fateful 4th of July. Visualize late-night conversations where Drew subtly plants seeds of doubt about Michael, convincing Willow that her ex-husband never valued her sacrifices. Breaking this spell will require an external force, perhaps a heartfelt intervention by Carly Spencer, or raw, emotional confrontation with Michael himself, who might reveal a hidden diary entry from their past that rekindles Willow's sense of self-worth. Until that moment, Drew's hold seems unbreakable, a dark cloud over Willow's journey to redemption. Beyond personal betrayals, Drew's political corruption casts an even wider shadow over Port Charles. His framing of Tracy Quartermaine for drugging him with ketamine, a crime he knows was orchestrated by Portia Robinson, with Nina's involvement, martyr a chilling willingness to sacrifice anyone for his own preservation. Imagine secret meetings in dimly lit backrooms, where Drew smirks as he plants false evidence against Tracy, all to protect his affair with Willow from public scandal. He's also been blackmailing Portia, holding her career hostage with the threat of exposing her role in the scheme. The tension is palpable as Portia wrestles with the decision to come clean. Envision her staring at her medical degree on the wall, torn between professional ruin and moral duty. If she musters the courage to speak out, perhaps in a dramatic press conference at General Hospital, it could ignite a firestorm that engulfs Drew's reputation, though it risks her own downfall in the process. Adding another layer to this intricate puzzle, Curtis Ashford emerges with a daring plan to topple Drew once and for all. Determined to protect his family and expose the congressman's true nature, Curtis schemes to bribe Jacinda, a shadowy figure tied to Drew's past, into confessing that Drew willingly engaged with a sex worker and consumed ketamine. Picture Curtis meeting Jacinda at a secluded pier under the cover of night, slipping her a wad of cash as they whisper about fabricated evidence that could ruin Drew. This risky gambit could either be the silver bullet that pierces Drew's armor or a catastrophic misstep that backfires on Curtis, potentially dragging his own reputation into the mud. The uncertainty of this plot keeps viewers on the edge of their seats. Will Curtis' bold move succeed, or will Drew once again slither out of consequences with a sly grin? Drew Kane has morphed into a literal monster on General Hospital, a villain whose every action drips with malice and self-interest. Fans are desperate for the payoff of witnessing his inevitable fall from grace, a moment of justice that feels tantalizingly close yet frustratingly out of reach. Could this week mark the beginning of the end, with secrets spilling out like a dam bursting after heavy rain? Perhaps a surprise witness, someone from Drew's distant past like a scorned political rival, steps forward with damning testimony at a critical town hall meeting. Or maybe Willow, fueled by newfound clarity, teams up with Michael to orchestrate a public confrontation that strips Drew of his power. The possibilities are endless, and the anticipation is electric as Port Charles braces for the storm of revelations. As we look ahead to the episodes airing from June 9th to 13th, 2025, one thing is certain: Drew Kane's reign of deception cannot last forever. Whether it's through Willow's awakening, Portia's bravery, Curtis' risky scheme, or an unforeseen twist, the walls are closing in. Tune into ABC to witness every heart-wrenching moment, every shocking betrayal, and every step toward justice in General Hospital. The battle for truth in Port Charles is far from over, and we'll be here with more exclusive spoilers and insights to keep you in the loop. Thank you for joining us today on the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Until next time, keep watching for the drama that never stops.